This episode of The Horror Show is brought to you by Momo, Michael Robinson, Austin Kelly, Micah Eunice, and Panfilo DeCenzo. And yeah, that's it. So coming up next, I'm not even there's nothing to say prior to this, but it's Elves. Elves is coming up. So just fucking brace yourselves.
Paying attention in class, I was thinking about the adventures of Ash, about the misfortune of sitting kids at Crystal Lake. Became addicted straight away with the initial tape. God bless Betamax. VHS, holy like Amanda Kruger. I was introduced to genre flicks by Toby Hooper. I started craving more just like Larry the Looter. I collected VHS without commentary or bloopers. Store computers, magazines, a bunch of stores. Spent my money on movies and begged my mom for more. I'd watch the boys kill those astro bastards 5 times a day or even more. I loved the gore. Lionel and Paquita combined their lonely hearts. I was hellbound, Cenobites tore my soul apart. I've seen them all, from Dracula to Vertigo. Listen up, welcome to The Horror Show with Sean and Joe.
Hello everybody and welcome to The Horror Show. Show that dissects, mutilates, dismembers, and butchers all of your favorite and not so favorite horror movies and other horror related events. I'm Sean.
I'm Joe.
I think this is a horror related event.
You think this is what?
A horror-related event. I think we finally found out what a horror-related event is. And I think it's Elves because it's not a horror movie.
It's not even a fucking movie. I'm already getting flustered. It's always a good sign when we're 2 minutes into recording and I'm already at a loss for words. But I watched this 3 days ago. Usually my memory just serves me correctly about the events. This is so dialogue driven with the main villain being a puppet that stays in the same spot the entire time.
Yeah, I think a puppet that stays in the same spot. I have this same note, which is I'm pretty sure that's now a statue. If it doesn't, if it doesn't do anything, I think it's a statue. So I think we can qualify this as a statue.
I like it. That would make sense because they just move it from spot to spot.
Correct.
I will say, so the people that were saying this movie is fun. You're an asshole. But I will say that the dialogue is funny. The dialogue is nothing short of batshit crazy. It is the highlight of the movie. Everything else is abysmal.
like straight up everything else. Like the dialogue is. I mean. It's just so crazy. It's so crazy that people wrote things down like this.
Agreed. And there are times when things are said where you rewind things because something cool happened. But I was rewinding things because like, did this kid really just fucking say that? Like, it's a trip. I'm not sure. I personally could have done without ever seeing this. I'm not sure that I would recommend watching this based on dialogue alone. But,
yeah, and I was wondering how, because this has like a couple releases like recently, but you can find multiple copies of it on YouTube, and that's always usually a weird sign, and it's clearly a sign where they're like, no one's gonna buy this. Like no one's ever gonna buy this fucking movie. Like it, the dialogue.
This was not SOV.
No,
but it should have been.
It could have been.
I've seen better SOV movies.
Absolutely. The dialogue in it is like, I don't know what do you think's worse, the the people that wrote these words on paper and handed them to somebody else, or the people that read them and were like. That didn't like stand up for themselves and be like, I'm not reading this.
Well, I that's a great question because it should be the people that read this and was like, yeah, I'm okay with it. But they probably signed a legal contract somehow. I don't know how you can get any contract involved in this movie, but it's most definitely the people that wrote this down. Yeah. If you told me that inanimate elf, like they just put a pencil in his hand and just saw had it write down words and just put words together, then I would accept that because it's just a jumbled mess.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on 1 second. James is already here. 5 minutes.
Oh, nice.
What's up?
Tell them all about Spook House.
I'll tell him about Spook House. Is that really why you came over here?
Yeah.
Okay, buddy, don't interrupt again, please. Put your headphones on and do your Legos. I'll be there in a minute. Kidding me?
Well, now you got to tell us about Spook House.
It's like a comic book, which, by the way, he told me yesterday he hates. So I don't know why he wants me to talk about. Dude, I bought him 4 of these Spook House comics because they're crazy. It's like scary stories for kids in comic book form. The art's like disturbing, like, but it's not too like graphic. So I bought them for him, and we read one of them, and he's like, "These are terrible," and I was like, "What? What, dickhead?" Anyway, so yeah, like we were saying, like, yeah, the dialogue, yeah, like it's insane, and I think that is true. I think it's only based on a contract. Like these people just wanted their paychecks, so they just read the words.
I mean, have you ever seen anybody go through the motions more than Grizzly Adams did?
But so Grizzly Adams, Dan Haggerty is in this movie. He plays the lead character. I mean, I think that's how he's always been. Like, I don't think he's ever acted in a role. Do you know he's like an animal? Like the way he got the Grizzly Adams role was because
he like tames bears.
Yes. Like he's not acting as Grizzly Adams. He was like a legitimate animal tamer that was like, "Hey guys, can I?"
Right, and he was very soft spoken, and I do agree. He is not an actor. They wrote that show around him, which is why like he should not be in here.
Oh,
why I'm saying he's going through the motions is that he's not like. You know, I'm not an actor, but if somebody put me in something, I would at least attempt.
Yeah.
Do something.
Okay, yes, you're right.
He does not. He does not. And that's fine. I get your point. Like, he didn't have to do that while he was, like, I don't know, frolicking in the woods with the bears. He didn't have to do that. But, like, at least try.
You're right. Actually, you're right. Somebody paid you to be a character. Like, you have to at least try to be that character. The way he acts for this role makes 0 sense whatsoever. Like, he's supposed to be like a hardened cop, like that got fired from the force for drinking excessively.
That is exactly what his character is, and he is the most soft-spoken, like, relaxed, rational human being I've ever heard.
If all cops were Grizzly Adams, like, our country would be in a much better state. They would just talk everyone down. Like, they'd just put everyone to sleep. Like, just like, "Hey, now, are we sure we want to do that?"
I'm glad you said that, because his voice is so mellow. It's honestly, like, my eyes are starting to droop just listening to it. Like, he should have gone into audiobooks.
Yes, or those ASMR, that ASMR shit where they just like talk softly. Dude, his dialogue is so fucking funny in this because it's like intense dialogue, but the way he delivers it is like.
There are times when he should have entered the room literally guns blazing after like everything that he's discovered, and he is so calm. That guy should have never lost his job in the first place.
No, absolutely not. Oh my god. Also, for a while I thought he was a store detective. I thought that was his position, but it turns out he's actually a real cop. So yeah, starring Dan Haggerty. There's a couple other, I don't want to say big actors. There's an actress, the mom, who was pretty famous. She did a lot of TV work, but other than that, not a lot. 1989, this was released October 24th. And not a ton of facts about it either. Just this movie just kind of came and went. I don't understand why. Now, you want to talk about? We talked about this last week with having like multiple plots.
Yes, we did. And you know what? This is on us because the 5 weeks before that we were complaining about having somebody just explain the plot and everything would be fine. But we got that in this. We got that.
Oh, and it was a horrifying.
Yeah.
I mean,
there are so many subplots involved. And we're honestly, you can give them credit because we were well aware of them. I knew what was happening. It was ridiculous.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. Like, I want to like just, it's so crazy. So we'll get into the subplots of this in a minute, but as a Christmas movie goes,
You just stop right there.
like the fact that this is supposed to circle around Christmas at all or elves is fucking asinine.
I mean, before watching it, did you not think that they were at least going to try and make it involving like the Santa Claus elves?
I thought it was going to be like Gremlins, but with Santa Claus elves type things.
Right. That's what I thought too.
I mean, the movie opens with like an ornament breaking.
Right. And a Christmas ritual.
And a Christmas ritual, okay, so the Christmas ritual. All right, let's get into the movie because
Did you know this was released in theaters?
Yes, I do.
The audacity to fucking open this in theaters.
Also, did you kind of notice? Wait, what year did Okay, first of all, this was made in 1990, which makes no sense because this looks like 75.
No, it was released in 89, October 24th.
89. Okay. So,
Well, yes, it looks like 75.
it looks so bad. And when did Die Hard come out? 88?
Yes.
Dude, I swear to God, I think they were like, can we add some Die Hard to this? Because the middle portion of this movie, like the gunfight it's like Die Hard.
Oh, I would guarantee that they did that. And like you said, Gremlins. And just to go back to your previous point to hammer this home to the listeners, the cover of Elves is an elf hand unwrapping a Christmas present. And the tagline is, "They're not working for Santa anymore."
Which, fun fact, has nothing to do with the elves we're about to see or learn about. It's crazy. Okay, so we open up with these girls. It's a group of friends who go out into the woods, and it appears to be witchcraft, right?
Yes, it does.
And I mean, I guess that is what it is, but then they go, we now convene the Sisters of Anti-Christmas. So they're not really witches. They're more, they just hate Christmas.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they've made up a fake ritual, and like the chant is, "We bemoan Christmas" as a petty, over-commercialized media event. And you're like, oh, what is this? Like, why am I watching this? And then the girls,
If that was their stance the entire time, like, fine. Like, you could work with that. Like, I wasn't immediately off board with them doing this.
I mean, I just thought, well, I was, because after they say that, they run out of the woods. They're in the woods, by the way. So you really think it is witchcraft, but that's all they say. And then they're like, oh, we got to get home. And then they leave. And for some reason, that shitty summons brings out the elf.
Well, she cut her hand.
Oh,
The blood spilled, and that's what resurrected him.
okay. So that seems like a fucking stretch, man. But sure. So this
No, I mean, she was bleeding pretty profusely. That's what when you summon the dark arts, you got to put some blood in.
But they weren't summoning dark arts. They were like, we hate Christmas. And then she cut her hand by accident.
Yeah,
Man, that would suck. Imagine if that's all it took to like raise demons. Oh my God. That would be fucking terrible. Oh yeah. She cuts herself on a wax candle. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like my favorite thing. Like she's like, ow, I cut myself on this candle, but whatever. That's fine. So then the elf comes out. And also we learn she's like, yeah, she draws this symbol, and it's this woman. She says their symbol is a virgin of anti-Christmas, the virgin of anti-Christmas. And they show the picture, and it is like the most sexualized image of a woman ever. Like, it looks like a woman from that cartoon Heavy Metal, like the biggest breasts. Like, no teenage girl is going to draw that and be like, this is who we pray to. This is the goddess of anti-Christmas.
That wax candle that she was holding, like They didn't even attempt to like make it slide down to make you think that it might have cut her open. She was literally just holding it.
Yeah. And somehow like you hear glass break, but there's no glass involved. They just played like a cracking noise. It was ridiculous. So the main girl goes home and we meet her grandfather, who just immediately starts beating the shit out of her from his wheelchair too.
He slaps her because they had his fucking book during their shitty ritual. They brought a book with them, but she got it from him. He slapped her once for taking the book, and he immediately slapped her again and told her it was for the lie that she was about to tell.
Which she does lie, because he's like, "Did you go in the woods?" And she's like, "No," which they did. So clearly Grandpa knows. I mean, from literally 5 minutes in, we know the grandfather knows what's going on. But we have to wait forever to find out what's happening. We also meet her mother, who is a monster.
The worst.
A monster. And I mean, unfortunately, we'll learn this horrible secret later, which I don't know if I blame her for being the worst, but I mean, she's just cruel to her daughter. Just
to everything.
Well, oh, wait, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. She's a nightmare.
That one scene honestly pissed me off. In this movie of all fucking movies, you're gonna do this.
And not only do they okay, well, let's just wait till we get to that scene, because it's fucking crazy. We also meet, she has a little brother named Willie, who wears those Ninja Turtle pajamas we all owned as kids.
Yep.
With it, dude. Do you remember Matt? Do you know the story of Matt Piascal, our friend Matt Piascalzo, wearing those every day to kindergarten class?
I don't. I didn't know Matt till first grade.
Okay, so Matt Piascalzo was our friend. He was in my kindergarten class, and he wore those pajamas literally every day to school. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. To a point where the teacher was having talks with other kids' parents, being like, "Hey, can you like talk to Matt's parents and see if they'll tell him to stop wearing his pajamas to school?" Because he had actually like worn out the graphics on the pajamas because he wore them so frequently. But I mean, we all thought it was. I mean, we were all like, "Oh my God, you're so awesome!" Like, we can't believe you're wearing those. It's so cool. But this kid's wearing them now. This might be one of the weirdest scenes. This movie has so many scenes that are just like you mouth drop open scenes. Like, why? Like, why does this exist in a movie? And the girl is in a shower. The main girl, who's a high schooler, is in the shower, and the little brother is spying on her, which is
sorry, Sean, your phone was cutting in and out.
So
in the shower, yes.
Yeah, so the girl is in the shower, right? Little brother is spying on her. That's creepy, right? Just off the bat. That's one of the worst things.
Yeah. Right. But what he says next, everyone involved should have been arrested.
Yes, absolutely. I cannot agree more. It's one of the most bizarre, appalling things. Again, somebody was like, "What would a kid say here?" and so the sister comes out and is like, "You pervert! Why?"
He says,
"Yeah." She's like,
"Sorry, go on."
She's like, "You pervert! Why are you spying on me?" Blah blah blah. And what does he say?
He says, "Well, you have big tits, and I'm going to tell everybody that I saw them."
It's unbelievable. And he's also like, "I love tits and I want to see them." Like, what? Like, what in the world is happening? And just think about the guy that's like, I mean, it's obviously Victor Salva, but like, what? Like, there's a man just like sitting around being like, "Oh yeah," and then the little brother says, "I love your big tits."
I hope to God you just crack something open and we find out Victor wrote this fucking movie.
I mean, dude, look at the plot line. Like, it's a very good possibility. Like, whoever did wrote it, I hope is in prison. And then, yeah, like just writing that and then thinking about him handing this script to multiple people and then being like, yeah, I guess that's what little brothers do.
Imagine being the parent, like you bring James on the set.
Dude, that's what I was going to
Oh,
say.
great. He's about to get his big break, and you see him deliver that line. You don't just immediately pull him off the set. Like,
I would literally
a restraining order.
I would pull the film out of the camera. Like I would just pull the ribbon out of it and just fucking destroy it. Every piece of footage that my kid was in. Because I'm pretty sure, I mean, now this was 89, so I don't know how strict the rules were, but like nowadays, like the parent has to be on set and like make sure their kid's not like being fucking abused on set. But like, I imagine that kid's parents had to be around.
He had to. I mean, it would be, I think it's illegal if you're under 18 to not have your parental supervision on the set.
That's what I thought.
You're working. Like you can't be the labor laws, you know?
That's fucking crazy. Oh my God. And they were like, yeah, he's pretty good. Delivering that fucking dialogue. Great. So meanwhile, by the way, this entire movie, because the demon was resurrected within the first 3 minutes of the movie, the whole movie is the demon. You get demon point of view the whole movie, but he does nothing. He does nothing. He's just spying on them and shit. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous.
Dude, I love the calling of a statue. It's fantastic.
Oh, dude, that's because, okay, so I can't wait. Like, I mean, I guess we could just talk about it now because the first time you see him, his mouth does not move. Actually, wait, the first time you see him, all the times you see him, his mouth doesn't move. It's just a statue that they like, it's on wheels, I think, that they just like push around.
I would agree with that.
Because it doesn't move at all. There's a hand that clearly somebody's manipulating, but that's it. There's nothing else about this thing. It's fucking crazy. So Demon's snooping around. Oh, he ends up breaking into the house with a fucking brick. like your average like B&E burglar, like just throws a brick through the basement window to get in. Like nothing supernatural about it at all. Like just has to make do. It's crazy. The demon attacks the brother in the sleep, just scratching him.
Sean, I don't mean to interrupt the flow, but do you have your laptop in front of you?
Yeah.
All right. So while you were talking about them like moving the elf around, I just wanted to Google the elf to see what he looked like in different scenes. And, can you just Google Elves 1989 and look at the images?
Oh, that's actually what's on my desktop right now. It's ridiculous. The face is so.
His face is the same in every single shot. His mouth is just gaped. And the one by the bathtub is so fucking ridiculous. They literally just stuck him there. There's nobody operating any animatronic. Just fucking stuck him there.
It's 100% a statue. Oh yeah, the bathtub, dude. It honestly is one of those like Halloween props, like the soft foam. Like
yeah. And to change it up, they put a Santa hat on him once.
You know what? I saw that screenshot. I don't even remember that happening in the movie.
The mall scene, isn't it?
I guess that's fucking ridiculous, though. I don't know. I couldn't see it because the screen was like pure black.
The lighting is abysmal.
It's fucking terrible.
Sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah. So the demon attacks the boy. The boy wakes up screaming. The mom and the sister run in. He's like, it was a little man ninja troll, which like, once you finally see this thing, like just, it's none of those things. Just call it a monster. What kid wouldn't call that a monster? A man ninja troll. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. But then the mom is like, it was that fucking cat. Which, like, even if it was the cat, who gives a shit?
Right. And right before that, all right, so the grandfather slapped her around. The mother comes in and punishes the girl by depleting her bank account, which is the most extreme punishment I've ever heard of. Like, I'm going to remove all your life savings. Then we cut to the girl after the shower scene. She's in the room, And she like looks at the camera being like, "My life is a cliche. My cat is my only friend." Like, oh God, this cat's gonna fucking get it soon.
I mean, I didn't even think about that, but dude, the bank account thing, I thought the same thing. Like that was like cruel. Like, first of all, I'm pretty sure like I think that's against the law. Like she was like, "You're gonna be giving me your paychecks. You're gonna give me all your money." It was so weird, so fucking extreme.
But yeah, the girl threw that's the thing. We want people to clarify the plot, and I do feel like some movies would benefit from somebody just saying things. But when you have a girl being like, "My cat is my only friend," and then the next scene having the elf come in and having it immediately blamed on the cat, you're just like, this is the worst writing I've ever seen.
Yes, 100%. Because like you could just probably assume like the family cat is everyone's friend. Like. It's very easy to write. So the mom, before the mom, oh God. So then we introduced to Dan Haggerty, who is a terrible soft-spoken actor. And he plays like a homeless guy, I guess, down on his luck cop, which we don't learn that till much later, but he's just like, he goes into the store asking for a job and the store manager is like, "Piss off, you piece of shit." And when Dan Haggerty's like, "Hey man, you're a real jerk," he's like,
that is a plus Dan Haggerty impression.
The manager's like, "How dare you say that? Get out of my house or get out of my store." Like he treats Dan Haggerty like such a piece of shit. And when Dan Haggerty's like, "Hey man, you're a jerk," the guy loses his mind and is like, "I'm gonna call the police."
Also, those guys are friends. I don't know if you picked up on it, but that was his like lifelong friend.
I did pick up. It's amazing. So Dan Haggerty's like down on his luck. He can't get a job even at the mall, and it's the holidays. He's just looking for a job. Meanwhile, the girls who also work at the mall at this store, they decide they're like, "Hey, let's go goof on Santa," which I guess is I didn't know what that meant, and I'm still not entirely sure what they meant. But they meant like go in the Santa line and sit on his lap. And again, one of the most weird scenes, like the dialogue here doesn't even make sense. So the lead sits on Santa's lap and is being silly or whatever. And then Santa starts feeling her up. And Santa's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I forget what she says. But then Santa just goes, "Oral." Santa said oral. And you're like, what? Why? Like, he repeats himself, which like is like, I don't even understand why he's repeating himself or why he just says it. Like, he just is like, oral. Like, he can't, like, it's not part of the dialogue. Like, they're like,
I'm glad you said that because it was very forced out of place.
It was so, because he's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And she says something and it's not sexual whatsoever. And then he's just like, "Oral." And you're like, what the fuck? Like, it was so bizarre. Unless it was Clint Howard playing it. Then it would make a lot more sense. But it's not. So while this is happening, we cut to the mom. And this is just one of the most fucked up scenes I've ever seen in a movie, I think.
It is. It was like hard to watch.
It was fucking and bizarre. And you're talking about, again, this is the first of many, not many, I guess there's just a few, but scenes where like it's a holiday Christmas movie. Like even the Silent Deadly Nights are just like, they're gory or whatever, but they're goofy. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's a Christmas movie. You know what I mean? So like,
right.
Make it you got to make it a little bit more lighthearted, like, and just fun to watch. And this has two plot points that are the least fun things I could ever think about. And one is this mother drowns a cat in a toilet.
And it's not even implied. We just watch her do it. She puts it in a bag and drowns it.
Not even there's no part of it that's implied.
If they were going to show you that, they could have at least cut away like immediately. You're like, okay, I get it. But they make sure you watch the entire drowning.
You watch it stop moving. The bag stopped. Well, first of all, we watch her catch the cat in a pillowcase. Right. And I mean, you put an animal in a pillowcase and bad shit's going to happen. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is going to happen here? Like, this is fucking crazy. And then she drowns it in the fucking toilet of all things.
Yeah.
And then we watch her bury it. Like, there's not a minute of this murder that we don't witness. Like we get to watch the whole thing, and it's fucking insane. And, it kind of just takes the Christmas spirit out of everything. But not as much as this gremlin who now stabs the shit out of Santa with a knife. Wait, does this gremlin use a gun later too? The elf?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. At the very end.
He shanks Santa here, and he will use a firearm later in the movie. He's like a supernatural being. Oh boy. So the elf kills Santa, the mall Santa, leaves him for dead. They find the body. The cops show up and they start questioning Kirsten, who's the lead. And the cop is like Kirsten's like, do you really think I did this? Because also she has like a million alibis because she's working at the mall and shit, but whatever. And then she's like, do you really think I did this? And he's like, I don't know. Santa fills you up. You hit him. And then we find him dead with his nuts cut off. What should we think? All right, buddy, relax. Like, she fucking hit him. Like, that's the end of this fucking story.
And was his nuts cut off?
Wait, what's that?
Was his nuts actually cut off?
Oh, I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure out. He says another line about that. And I don't know. I guess maybe the elf cut off his dick. Because why else would he say that?
Yeah, I don't know.
And also, why would they leave that out? Like, we had to watch a cat drowning, but we can't watch him cut some guy's dick off. Like, they didn't even imply that. The detective just tells us that.
Well, because that would require the elf to move.
Oh, right. I forgot. There are scenes where, because the elf, you'll see the elf's hands occasionally, or hand. It's one hand. You'll see his hand occasionally, and it is most clearly a hand on a stick next to the statue. Like, it's very obvious that that's what's happening. So the next night, the girl gets attacked by the elf, and this time, because the cat's dead, the mom blames a raccoon. A raccoon is in her house, she says, and she's like, what are you talking about? It was just a raccoon.
She murdered a cat.
Then Grandpa shows up, and he's like, because the girl's saying like, didn't the elf like slam the dead cat up against the window?
Yes.
Okay, so to like scare the girl, I guess, and then I guess that was before he scratched her, or I don't know. And then the grandpa rolls in and is like, that's Arvin Huta. And you're like, what the fuck? And he's like, they killed the cat and dragged it to the window. And then the mom is like, hey, you stupid piece of shit.
I killed that cat.
I killed that cat.
The mom had such a fucking like clear alibi now. Nobody would ever pin it on her. Like, she'd be like, oh, thank God for these fucking elves. But no, she's just immediately like, you stupid idiot. I killed that cat.
You stupid old fuck. You want to know what happened to that cat? I fucking killed. Like, it was so unnecessary. And I don't even think the grandpa even was upset about it. He was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. He was like, wait. How about that?
Oh, well, I guess I was wrong. Oh, man. And the mom hates that this guy talks about elves. Which, I guess in hindsight, with what we'll discover later in the movie, I guess I would also hate elves. if this guy kept talking about him. Meanwhile, Dan Haggerty, after Santa was just murdered, Dan Haggerty's like, I'll take the Santa job. And then he takes the Santa job and is like, this is the worst. He has he has some dialogue in this movie that cracks me up because it was clear, like, again, like the Die Hard scenes and stuff in this, like clearly supposed to be, you know, like yelled at, or like some range of emotion to it. Like even this scene where he becomes Santa, like the person is clearly supposed to be like, oh, God damn it, now I'm Santa. and Dan Haggerty's just like, oh gosh darn it, now I'm Santa, not a detective anymore. And you're like, what? This fucking guy, the biggest sad sack in movie history. Wait a minute, Dan Haggerty should have been Charlie Brown.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Just
an adult version.
Just put him in an ill-fitting like yellow zigzag shirt and have him mope about.
Fuck. I wish we could have done that. Live action adult Charlie Brown.
Dan Haggerty, the biggest man ever.
Trying to kick football. Someone pull it away from him.
Oh my God, it's perfect. It's the perfect role for him. It's absolutely the perfect role for him.
Going to see a psychiatrist. That's just a fucking booth outside of her center.
Oh man, Dan Haggerty finds a symbol on the ground that's been etched into the ground, and he's like, and this dialogue, like the dialogue is so fucking weird. He's like, man, this looks familiar. By the way, it doesn't, because he'll spend the rest of the movie researching these symbols, and then he's like, man, this looks familiar. It's the most bizarre symbol. No, I'm not a detective anymore. A store detective. This isn't for you to worry about. Like, he is Eeyore in human form. And it's like, yeah, you're right. That isn't for you to worry about. Like, why? And don't worry, because he'll involve himself in it. And not only will he involve himself in it, but he meets with the cops later. And the cops are like, this is why you were kicked off the force. And then for some reason, Dan Haggerty's like, all right, man, I just need a couple more days to figure this out. And the cops are like, okay. Like, he's not a police officer.
I cannot believe how good your Dan Haggerty impression is. It's fucking perfect.
But he's just like, why is he leading the investigation? He is a mall Santa. And the cops are like, all right, man, I'll give you 2 more days.
He should honestly be arrested for tampering with evidence. Fucking touching everything.
He's leading the investigation. Like, he's reporting to his boss, and his boss is like, you're fired. He's like, I just need a couple more days to figure this out. It's fucking unbelievable.
Contacting witnesses, going to the crime scene.
Dude, research, going to doctors, breaking into a doctor's home and being like, tell me everything you know.
Which that doctor does.
Okay. This movie is like so beyond perfect. I love it until I don't love it anymore. And it's fucking bad. All right. So the grandpa meets with these weird Germans, right?
Yep.
He meets with these weird. Wait, also, I just have to say this too. I just thought of this. In Dan Haggerty's Santa dressing room, they still have the chalk outline of the dead Santa. Like, it's an active crime scene, and he's like changing into a Santa suit and touching shit. Oh, fuck, that's funny. All right, anyway. So the German grandfather meets with these other Germans, and you know they're German because they all wear leather coats and ties. And the Germans, they're like, you had us convinced they could not be resurrected. When there's no more room in hell, the elves will walk the earth. Are you kidding me right now? That is offensive dialogue. Like, elves are in hell. Like, so, oh my God.
Before we decided we were doing this movie, one of our listeners, Bus, had messaged me and was like, will you guys please do Elves? I was like, I don't know, it looks like shit. And she was like, well, there's this line, and that's the line that she typed to me. Like, all right,
Wait, which fan was it?
Bus.
I don't know if I know that one.
Oh, Cass.
Oh. I got you. Okay. Yeah. Oh, she's the one that she recommended this?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to have a word with her. Cause that's not good. This is when there's no more room in hell that elves will walk the earth. Which would be cool, like if again, like honestly, this movie changes if these elves were like Santa's demonic elves. But that's not what this movie is.
Right.
And this movie is also very serious. Like there's scenes that are like, when you write down the dialogue, it sounds like a line from like a satirical movie or something, or like a parody. But they are reading this with such conviction. Like this is real life. Like this is not intended to be funny. All right. So we also learned that these Germans are planning on impregnating his granddaughter, which he's not like thrilled about, but he's also just like, oh, fuck. Like he's not really against it. Do you agree with that?
Did you hear me?
No.
I said yes.
Oh.
He's not.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, all right. Kirsten's friends, we meet them again. They were the friends in the beginning of the movie, and these girls are crazy about the dick.
They are.
Fun fact: no woman alive is just like this into dicks. Like these girls are like, oh, I can't wait to bone these guys. So much so. Wait, what?
One of them asks if the guy's dick is actually a yard, which makes me wonder if they've ever actually seen one.
Yeah. Well, one of them's like, yeah, for sure. And it even more alarming is how these people want to have sex so bad that they don't even know who they're having sex with. Like when the guys show up, they're arguing about which ones they won't be having sex with. Like one of them's like, I'm not having sex with her. I'm having sex with this one. And one of the girls is like, I'm going to sleep in the red tent because like Dan likes red things. So Dan will come into my tent. And you're like, wait, what the fuck is happening right now? And by the way, they are sleeping in tents inside of a store.
that they broke into.
That they break into, yes. While all this is happening, Dan Haggerty is now at the library researching symbols and runes. And it's not a full montage, but it's very much like we get to watch Dan Haggerty reading for a couple minutes. And Dan Haggerty keeps licking his finger and not flipping the page, but licking his finger and then using it to highlight the words on the pages.
Find words, yeah.
Which I've never seen in my life. Like, that's disgusting. He's just wiping his spit all over, and he just keeps licking his finger and doing it.
It's fucking flu season, because it's Christmas. What a fucking ass.
Also, have you ever seen somebody smoke so many cigarettes in a movie? Like, Dan Haggerty's cigarette does not go out. It's on par with Samuel L. Jackson in Jurassic Park. Like Dan Haggerty smokes
it's nonstop.
The entire dude. He's smoking in the library. But he looks through this book and then there's pages torn out. Dun dun dun. So, the girls break into the store. They're gonna have sex and drink 40s. They're drinking malt liquor. Also in the store is Smokin' Haggerty, who's just running around smoking cigarettes. Dan Haggerty is Dan Haggerty living in the mall? I'm pretty sure he is.
like right before the scene, we see his like shitty trailer home, which he's been evicted from. So I think we're supposed to imply assume he is living.
I didn't even notice that scene. Oh wow. So he's living in the mall now, which is depressing, but it's okay because we watch him reading this book on like elves and Nazis, and he's just sitting in his bed laughing while reading this fucking book. It's so fucking weird. But he hears the girls downstairs. He confronts them. And they both decide that they won't tell on each other as long as they don't fuck shit up. And then Dan Haggerty, and this is where random Christmas spirit shows up.
I just remembered one of them refers to it as a Mexican standoff.
Yes.
There's no firearms involved. They're just talking to each other about how they're both not supposed to be there.
Yes. Oh, she's like a good old Mexican standoff. I'm pretty sure Dan Haggerty like gives her side eye in that moment and is like, "What? That's not in the script," and it's stupid. But even more funny is like they randomly insert Christmas spirit here because the girls say something about like they don't believe in Santa, and Dan Haggerty shows the most charisma he does in the entire movie and is like, "What happened to you kids? Well, you don't believe in nothing anymore." Like he shows more emotion in this scene than any other scene in the movie. And it's all because they don't believe because adults are not believing in Santa. And he's like,
18-year-old kids.
He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Oh man. Meanwhile, the boyfriends show up, but they don't last long, I guess. And we don't get to really see why. I think we see one of them dead, but that's it, right?
Yes.
Is he the one that's dead in the doorway?
Yeah, I think you're just supposed to assume the elf got him, but worth mentioning, they set off the alarm like immediately.
Yes.
Upon entering.
Oh yeah, the alarm is just ringing off the hook. Also,
and there's no security anywhere to be found.
No, and also at this point, the elves are like, we haven't seen them in quite a while, and they're not even really the bad guys at this point because we've been introduced to this Nazi group who have now shown up to the mall with guns, and I think they're there to kill Dan Haggerty. And I don't really know why.
I don't know who they're targeting.
Wait.
Because why do they know about him? Unless they were monitoring who's reading up on the elves.
Wait, dude, actually, this is so fucking crazy. This is insane. So, especially because when you learn about the background, so they show up with guns, like to kill somebody at this mall, and they don't know about Dan Haggerty. And when they see the girl, they're like, "Stop firing! Like, we can't kill the girl." And then they leave. So I don't know what they showed up for. Well, they break in I just want to see. Oh, yeah. So the German guys break in, they set off the alarm. Dan Haggerty then goes into like a Die Hard situation. And he's fighting off Nazis in a building on Christmas. Like, it was so weird. And he's having
on broken glass.
He's having a gunfight. Like, I don't even know where his gun came from. I think he stole it from the store. But there is like a firefight here. Also, the guns are cap guns, and you can clearly hear it by the noises they make. They're like pop. It's like popping. It's like pop, pop, pop. Like there's no gun special effects in this whatsoever. And then Haggerty sees the elf who's just lurking in the background of the scene.
And not being subtle whatsoever.
No, literally, I mean, it's the same statue, so it's just standing there with its mouth open, like in the very distance of the store. And Dan Haggerty's like, "What the fuck is that?" Even though he has been reading about them this entire time. The elf kills Kirsten's friends too. Just destroys them.
Yeah, which was honestly kind of shocking because you'd think that like they were gonna be mainstays in this movie, but no, Everybody's dead except for the grandfather, the mother, and the
Yeah, and these Nazis who escape. Haggerty and these Nazis shoot probably like 7 billion rounds of bullets, and not a single person gets hit with them. It's fucking amazing. Wait, also, Dan Haggerty is hiding behind tents while they're shooting guns at him. Cloth tents. I've never seen anything quite like it. Well, after this, they leave because the girl's there, and they're like, "Oh my god, we can't kill the girl." Then the same cop shows up, and Dan Haggerty's like, "I'm telling you, I saw a 2-foot elf," and the police chief is like, "Shut the fuck up! Like, this is why you're fired." And that's when Haggerty's like, "I just need a little more time." Which I guess the police give him because he continues his investigation, his thorough investigation.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
Which, as you said, involves him breaking into some man's house and actually getting the information he needed.
Dude, he breaks into a doctor's house and he is having Christmas dinner with his children. It's Christmas Eve, by the way. It's Christmas Eve. And he breaks into this guy's house.
Are we at that scene right now?
Yes. Oh, wait.
Right.
No. Wait. Because we really need...
We missed the twist. Yeah.
Yeah, the twist comes first, which is insane. Well, there's a few scenes, I guess. Okay, so we also missed the elf sucking on that dead woman's fingers. And by sucking, they're just in the open mouth. And Kirsten goes home and starts talking to her mom and is like, "Hey, like, all my friends are dead." And the mom's like, "Shut the fuck up, you fucking idiot." And then is like, "Hey, Kristen, I just called the cops. They said your friends are dead. That sucks." And it's really weird. And they almost have a very sweet moment here where the mom is like, "You're just like your dad. And she starts complimenting her and then is like, "Self-centered, pig-faced piece of shit." And then because the daughter's like, "I wish dad were alive." And then she's like, "You want your dad? Go back to the study and talk to him." And she goes, "This is insane. This is possibly like one of the most insane things I've ever seen in a movie." And she goes, "But grandpa's in the study." And she's like, "That man in the study is your grandfather and your father." And it plays like soap opera, dun, dun, dun.
Yes, it does. I was just going to say that. I'm surprised it didn't cut to commercial.
It was insane. Dun, dun, dun. And we learn that's how we learn that she, oh my God. And it gets so much worse. We end up learning that the grandfather raped his fucking daughter to produce his granddaughter for the purpose of an elf having sex with her.
To create a Nazi master race.
But then later we'll learn that that's actually not true. Like, okay, so Dan Haggerty breaks into this doctor's house, and he's breaking into this doctor's house because
Can I just say, right before he breaks into the doctor's house, we see the doctor having Christmas dinner with his family, and the sweet little girl goes, "What is this, roast beef?" And the doctor like stands up, like clenched fist. He's like, "No, it's roast turkey, you stupid idiot."
And also, Dan Haggerty's been pointed to this doctor because a librarian was like, "Hey, if you want to know more about Nazis, this old Dr. Connors lives a few blocks down, knows everything about Nazis." So he goes to his house and is like, "Tell me everything you know about Nazis and elves." And the guy's like, "If you don't leave here, I'm calling the police." And Dan Haggerty's like, "Oh yeah?" And then the doctor's like, "All right, I'll tell you everything."
And he does. And he gets all the information he completely needs.
And it's insane because the elves he's like, "They're not real elves, you idiot." And he's like,
the guy also offers like multiple explanations and gives his opinion as to which one he likes best.
yes.
Which I've never seen before.
yeah.
He's like, this is why this is happening. And then also, some people think this one, which I think I might like more. Just tell us that one.
It's so true. And it's that they're genetically modified like soldiers, like created in a lab that also they gave like super semen to that will definitely produce the best Aryan race. But they need to have sex with a blonde virgin. And Dan Haggerty's like, oh my God. Oh God. And they have to do it on Christmas Eve too. Just to throw that in there. And then we cut to the granddaughter, Kirsten, talking to her like she has confronted her grandfather to be like, hey, did you rape mom? And he's like, they're like midway through it. Like, it's not like we cut to them and they're in the middle of talking. And he's like, listen, Kristen, I'm not proud of what I did, but I thought it was important. and then the probably the most like, it was honestly hard to listen to. Like, he goes, it wasn't traumatic for her at all. She was drugged and unconscious.
Which makes it so much worse.
I actually have like a lump in my throat right now. Like, just reading that. Like a grown man saying that to his granddaughter about her mom. Oh my God. He's like, the inbreeding was planned and controlled, so you would be perfect. So, he's like, a win's a win. And the mom, we cut to the mom who's doing her makeup in the mirror and starts doing the Steve Buscemi lipstick from Billy Madison. Like smearing it on her face just to make sure we know she's nuts. Oh man. While this is happening, this is my favorite scene, by the way, in the movie. Haggerty rolls up in the Haggerty mobile and he's being followed by the Nazi mobile behind him. And then, dude, this is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Like, honestly, like this is one of the funniest things. Haggerty notices the Nazi and is like, oh yeah? He punches his radio like the Fonz. And a bundle of dynamite pops out. From the radio in his car, a bundle of dynamite falls out, which Haggerty ignites and jumps out of his moving car.
And the car fucking explodes. Also, did you notice none of these cars are on a road?
No.
What they're driving on.
They're like on the infield, they're like in the outfield of like a baseball stadium.
It was unbelievable.
It was so weird. They're not on a road at all. Because clearly they had no permits to do this. They just blew up a car in somebody's lawn. Like,
backyard, yeah.
So Haggerty does it and jumps out of the, which by the way, Haggerty is like 35 feet tall. When you see him, like, if you were following behind him, there's no way you would not notice Dan Haggerty jumping out of this car. So then the car drives into the grass and blows up. And then the Nazi mobile shows up and is like, oh man, I can't believe that happened. Like, oh, what luck. Like, I didn't have to kill this guy. And then Dan Haggerty shows up behind him and just starts fighting him and has the audacity to say, what are you, a goddamn Nazi or something? Are you serious right now? Oh my God. He also, it's really funny to think about homeless Dan Haggerty blowing up his vehicle just to fight this guy. Like, if you were as tall and huge as Dan Haggerty, wouldn't you just take your chances on trying to get into the fist fight with him?
Absolutely.
Like, just pulling over and being like, get out of the fucking car.
Why is he carrying dynamite?
Dude, he has dynamite hidden in his car just in case. Imagine getting into a car accident and you just explode.
Oh my God.
Oh boy. Well,
what was that car? It was like a Pinto. Is that what it was?
It was 100%.
Getting like a fender bender just explode like that car did.
So the mom dies. She gets electrocuted by the elf. Haggerty gets to the house and brings the kids up to the bathroom where the mom is dead in the bathtub. And the kids are like, is mom all right?
Because an elf electrocuted her.
Yes.
And we do see nudity in this movie because her boobies are flapping wild for about 7 straight minutes.
The mom is beautiful, by the way. The mom is fucking gorgeous. She's a home run. But she's dead now. And yeah, the kids are like, is mom all right? And Dan Haggerty's like, yeah, she'll be fine. Let's just go. Oh God. So mom's dead. So grandpa's still alive though. And we learn here that not because the Nazis show up also, and they have them pinned in the house. And we learn though that the Nazis, there actually will be no Nazi army, but another twist, she's actually going to be giving birth to the Antichrist. And the world will end as soon as she gives birth to this thing. So that's fun. The next scene, I can't even explain. It's the grandpa and Dan Haggerty and Kirsten all looking at that picture she drew, like the naked woman.
Yeah.
But then the grandpa's like, see? And starts drawing swastikas on her nipples. And Dan Haggerty's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's literally the most arbitrary thing. Like, I would be like, why are you doing that? Like, that doesn't mean anything. But the grandpa's like, look at this. It's so weird. And Jen Haggerty's like, oh, are you serious? This is insane. The Nazis show up. They kill, the grandpa kills one of the Nazis with a cap gun. And then the grandpa gets shot. And for some reason, Kirsten's like, no. Like, worst human being on earth. And she's like, God, no. Why him? Why always the good ones? So the kids run away. The Nazis are chasing them, which doesn't make sense because the Nazis are on the road and the kids are in the woods. And we're supposed to believe that they're chasing them. The Nazis finally have them in their sights. And then the elf shows up and just shoots the Nazi like in the chest with a gun, with a fucking firearm. The elf is trying to get romantic with Kirsten.
Yeah, he's got it. I mean, he's got to impregnate her.
Yeah, but like this is a fact. But like you assume a creature would probably just rape you, like probably. But this
Not
elf,
wine and dine.
this elf is whining and dining her. Like literally, he picks up a bug and like offers it to her to eat, and then before he eats it, and it's just like kissing her neck and it's so weird. It's so hard to watch. This poor girl. It's so fucking gross. Well, she's like, hey, Willie, can you go get the crystal? And we have to watch 5 minutes of Willie running to the house to get the crystal. Nothing happens. Willie just goes and gets the fucking crystal. But we have to watch it. He brings it back to her. And then she stabs the thing in the foot, I think.
Yep.
And that's what kills it. Which again is an excuse for them to like not do anything with the puppet. Like they were like, we don't have the special effects, so just like stab it in the foot.
Didn't she do something with the elf stone?
The elf stone?
Yeah, that's like what the boy got from the study.
That's what she stabs him in the foot with.
That's okay. All right.
But that's the funny part because he gives her the elf stone and he's like, what do you do with it? And she's like, I don't know. Grandpa said I'd know when it happens. And I guess the thing was stab the elf in the foot. And then
I pulled up Wikipedia just now just to see because I wanted to know what they're referring to that stone as.
Yeah,
and it was just stupidly elf stone. I just want to read the next line because we're at this part.
Okay. Please.
Says, the following morning, Kristen huddles in the now inexplicably destroyed forest. Yeah, No shit. They can't even fucking write a fucking review for this. It is inexplicably destroyed.
It's like bare. It's like ridiculous. There's all
no
the trees.
explanation for that.
Yeah, the vegetation is gone. And then like the elf is dead. The elf is dead, and Willie's like upset, and she's just like, "Shh, it's snowing." and that's how it ends. But
No.
but just to add to the trauma of this entire movie, it actually ends with
A picture of a fucking fetus
an ultrasound.
implying that the elf succeeded.
The elf got it in.
The elf knocked her up.
So ridiculous. So ridiculous. Oh my god. And that's how, and you hear the baby's heartbeat. Like it's like dunk 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 dunk. This movie is the pits, but fun to talk about, but awful.
Yeah.
Like I feel like people are going to listen to this. People will listen and be like, "Oh, I want to listen to this. Or I want to watch this rather." And they'll watch it and be like, "What? Why did I watch this?" Like they'll be so upset with themselves. Like
I have been getting actually messages like that quite often, being like, "Hey, why am I watching so and so do this on a Saturday morning?" Honestly, that's on you.
it really
You
is.
listen to our show, but I mean, you chose to seek this out after you listen to our episode.
Yeah.
It's on you. I'm telling you right now. You will not do it.
That's not our responsibility. We should put like a warning about that. So next,
I'm not excited. That's how they've been wording it too. Like, why am I watching it? I don't know why. I felt like I did a good job warning you.
yeah, we do a pretty good job. Like we are laughing during it, but that shouldn't be like it's a good laugh. What do we want to do next week? I think
this was our last episode ever.
Oh wait. Next week. What? Next week's 199.
Oh, I thought this was 199.
No, this is 198. So 199. You want to do Munchies?
Munchie Strikes Back.
I really wanted like a fun little character Christmas movie. So I think we should do Munchies.
But what does Munchies have to do with Christmas?
It doesn't, but Christmas is over next week. Today is Christmas, by the way, when this releases.
Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Or we could do, I mean, we got a lot of stuff. We could do, oh boy, Hobgoblins. I've heard.
Oh, you're really adamant on the little creatures.
I've heard Hobgoblins is like the worst thing ever.
No, I've seen Hobgoblins. And you're correct.
We could do Hobgoblins. We could do.
Have you seen New Year's Evil?
Yeah. Did we do an episode on it though?
I don't think I've ever seen it. So probably.
Oh, wait a minute. No, oh my God, I've never seen New Year's Evil. Sorry, I was thinking about April Fool's Day. Oh yeah, let's do New Year's Evil.
Yeah, that might line up nicely, you know.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's finally do these things that we've waited 4 years to finally do themed episodes on.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to like pick it. I like to do, the Patreon picks and all that, but kind of it's nice when you get to choose.
It is. Well, I think people have been saying our episodes recently have been a lot more. I don't know what's the word. They've liked them a lot more recently.
Okay. And
I think it has something to do with us being able to choose like the most ridiculous shit that we've like wanted to watch and just have it. Dude, I'm looking at the pictures to New Year's Evil and it looks so fucking bad.
Well, it's not a good sign when the like recommended things underneath it are X-Ray Hospital Massacre and that fucking movie. I just lost it. The one with the guy who plays Frosty the Snowman. Oh, Microwave Massacre.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, that was so bad. Dude, anyone that says that's good, they're lying. Anyway,
do you see this fucking mask?
Yes. That's why I'm so excited for it.
Yo, he looks like the guy, the claymation Santa Claus is coming to town.
Dude, that's exactly what I was about to say. The mailman.
Yeah, the Fred Astaire guy. Yeah.
Jimmy Durante. Oh man. All right. So New Year's Evil next week. That's what we're going to do. It'll be fun. So join us. And that's it. Facebook.com/IHateHorror, IHateHorror.com. I think we're going to have some new merch soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Starting in the new year, we'll have some new designs and stuff. And that's it. I don't think we have anything else to discuss. So Facebook.com/IHateHorror, IHateHorror.com. And I'm on Instagram at IHateHorror.
I'm at BlueDish1985.
And that's a wrap. So for Joe, this is Sean. Stay weird. Adios.
Dissect. Movies all fucking day.
Wanna play?
I'm gonna watch what I'm not supposed to watch.
Dismember.
A fucking zombie getting sliced and diced. A monster.
Mutilate. And butcher. That's it, guys.